Today's High Performance Podcast is brought to you by Josh Phegan Digital. It's where you'll find our revolutionary blueprint course. There's only one place that you can go from zero to hero over a weekend by watching the incredible blueprint. It's everything you'll need to be that $1 million agent. Prospecting, listing, negotiation, and growth. Broken up into short 15-minute pieces, skip to the content you need now or watch from the beginning to end. Only on Josh Phegan Digital. Welcome to High Performance, the podcast featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, one of the big things inside of any agency, and I get to work with new people that are just coming into the business and people that are actually joining a team or maybe moving geographical locations. I say to them, hey guys, there's a big difference between what we're going to call market and area knowledge. So market knowledge about what's going on in the market, what's happening in terms of the depth of the buyer talent, the number of properties currently available for sale, some of the economic conditions. Then also too about area knowledge, like who are the local builders, square meterage rates, what impacts on pricing, beachfront, golf views, you get the idea. Can you give us a bit of understanding about what do you do to kind of drill and rehearse people that are coming into your team in building area knowledge and then also too in building market knowledge, because you just don't look after 5,000 homes. You look after 13 different postcodes as your core market of what you'd say that this is where Alexander does the majority of his transactions.
Oh, hi Josh, thanks. I'm still learning a lot as well as because we sell in such a broad range of suburbs. But I remember, I don't know who it was, but when I first started real estate, someone said to me the main reasons why a person moves or buys is lifestyle reasons. So lifestyle reasons can relate to, like you said, beaches, parks, views, whatever it is. But it also you've got to get a really strong understanding of what's within that suburb, where the schools are, where the arterial roads are. Where the school catchment zones finish, where the restaurants, where the pubs, all the finer details on why someone would move there. And probably a good example is today we're doing a launch of a development down in Bronte, down at the surf club, and we've chosen the surf club because Bronte is such a big community suburb, and the nippers are on this morning, so we're doing it following the nippers, and that sort of all flows into why people live there. And I think to get that area knowledge, you've actually got to live and breathe it. So I don't mean by actually living in the suburb necessarily, but you've got to be in it. You've got to go to the local cafes to get your coffee in the morning, study the streets, study the schools. When you have that knowledge, it's very easy to talk to the marketplace about it.
I think this is a big conversation for anyone. When you go and you have a look at a marketplace, it's like, well, guys, what does it actually look like? And to me, the simple things are the most important ones. It's like you need to know, okay, great, who are the local builders in the area? Who are the people that go and have good quality conversations? What's actually happening to the square meterage rates? What are the key streets, the hubs and the spokes, the schools, the kindergartens, primary, secondary, TAFE, unis, major shopping centres, cafes, restaurants, doctors, transportation, lifestyle elements of that particular area, what you're doing in terms of travel times, and who are the local builders, architects, handymen. Then the conversation then goes into that market knowledge about saying rental values and sales values, and what are the last 20 sales, and age profile and demographic of the type of people in that area. What are the price drivers? Is it access to water, or is it access to schools, or conversations around, who's a good builder or not, and square meterage rates, and then off that, zoning, what can you actually build there in terms of the density and what's happening in that area, and then getting really clear about that. Outside of that, you then develop a bit of an idea about what's actually happening at a market level. You have a look at a lot of different things at a market level, number of buyers coming through an open, people that are inquiring online, how many bidders are turning up to an auction, who's requesting a copy of a contract. How soon when you launch a campaign can you tell if that campaign is on or off track, or if the market conditions have shifted from what you've thought maybe at the appraisal level to what you've launched at the pricing level?
Really good question, Josh. The first question I ask my guys overnight if we launch a property on a Thursday afternoon, I want to know the amount of inquiries that we've had by 8 a.m. the next morning. So that actually, the first 12 hours is probably the most important to understand on the amount of inquiries that you've got the pricing right in the back end. We're averaging at the moment about between, say, 50 and 70 overnight. So if that's off, there's something that's not working. It's either the price guide, the marketing. So we basically know within the second it goes on, but even before, so when we've actually showing our top 5 buyers through the photo shoot with our buyers agents to get a gauge on where it's actually sitting. So you should actually be ahead of the market, so you shouldn't have to also go, okay, why am I waiting a few days or for an open home? you should actually know where the market is before that property goes on, so you prepare the vendor.
I think this is a great conversation. It's like, you got to know exactly what you're doing as an agent and don't let time go by. And that's actually what happens, is that agents actually just get convinced that, oh, it's just this particular property, or, things will get better next weekend when there's no rain, or it's not a school holiday or a public holiday. But yet the reality of it is that if the market's going to move quickly, it will move quickly, and you've got to make sure that you're there and ready for it.